You've reached the edge of the cycle, and the moon knows it. This final portal of July is not just a gentle closing, it is a sacred test, a cosmic checkpoint that rises like a mirror in the night sky, demanding truth, alignment, and soul readiness. The universe is watching what you choose now. This is not just another moon phase. This is the culmination of energies that have been building quietly behind the scenes all month. It is karmic, it is spiritual, and it is personal. This portal doesn't simply open to let light in, it opens to expose what still lives in the dark corners of your being. You are not here to coast. You are not here to pretend. You are here to choose. Will you evolve or will you repeat? You may feel the weight in your chest, the uneasiness in your spirit, the stirring of forgotten shadows. That's no accident. The soul remembers what the mind tries to forget. And now the test has begun. The moon is asking, have you learned, or are you still looping in the illusion? July's final moon portal is a whisper from the divine disguised as a storm. It arrives cloaked in silence, but carries the weight of your entire past. Every decision, every delay, every lie you told yourself for the sake of comfort, it's all surfacing now. This isn't punishment. This is prophecy. A sacred exam where the questions are carved into your own emotional patterns. Can you see where you sabotage? Can you feel where your soul wants to rise, but your ego still grips the old world? The moon remembers every version of you, the one who stayed too long, the one who ran from the mirror, the one who was too afraid to say, I deserve more. And now she asks you to choose differently. This is your exit point from the old cycle, but only if you're brave enough to step through the fire. Don't be fooled by the calm. This stillness is the eye of transformation. The real shift happens when the portal closes, and you must ask yourself, who will I be on the other side? The moon does not lie. She pulls the tides of your inner world, dragging up the unspoken grief, the hidden rage, the patterns that have bound you in spiritual limbo. As this portal widens, you may notice strange synchronicities, intense dreams, confrontations you didn't expect. These are not random, they are tailored to you. This portal is not passive. It is alive. It responds to your readiness. If you have been asking for change, know this. The answer is here, but it's disguised as discomfort. You are being tested through what triggers you, through what shakes you, through what tries to pull you back into the very version of yourself you swore you'd never return to. And the portal is watching. The portal is listening. Are you reacting or rising? Are you repeating or remembering who you are? There is no more hiding. Not from yourself, not from your past, not from the patterns that have kept you looping in spiritual paralysis. This moon doesn't want your perfection, it wants your presence. It wants your honesty. The test is not whether you can avoid the chaos, it's whether you can walk through it with sacred clarity. Can you see the lesson inside the storm? Or will you fall asleep in the very pain you were born to transcend? You are at a fork in the soul's path now. One road leads to your next evolution. The other, a rewind, a loop, a lesson repeated with sharper edges. You will feel it deep in your bones, the choice. Will you keep reaching for people who keep you small? Will you keep saying yes to things your soul already said no to? The final moon portal of July is drawing a line in the sand, and it whispers, this is your last chance to choose differently. In this final portal, the universe is quiet but not absent. The silence is sacred. It is the pause before your rebirth. This moon brings no mercy to illusions. It is cutting, cleansing, confrontational. You may feel exhausted, restless, agitated, for no reason. That is the signal. Your old self is uncomfortable with its own dissolving. But don't retreat. Don't numb. Don't distract yourself from what's rising. Sit with it. Look it in the eye, because what you choose now writes the next chapter. You're not being punished. You're being witnessed, and your soul knows it. The patterns are circling. The energies are loud, and the test is simple. Will you act from your past or from your prophecy? Emotional purging suddenly. You're crying for reasons you can't name. Memories you thought were buried long ago are flooding back in vivid color. You feel raw, exposed, as if your spirit is shedding skin. This is the first test. The moon is fleshing out what no longer fits the frequency of who you're becoming. But here's the trap. Will you label these emotions as weakness and suppress them, or will you honor them as sacred release? The old world taught you to hide your tears, but your tears are the very waters that cleanse the karmic debris. This is not regression, it's resurrection. If you resist the purge, you remain entangled. But if you surrender, you become clean enough to enter the next dimension of your life. Don't hold back. Let it break. Let it pour. The moon is offering you freedom through feeling. Karmic relationship reappearances. Just when you thought you had moved on, they come back. A text, a memory, a pull you can't explain. This is no coincidence. It's a karmic echo. The second test, the universe is asking, have you truly healed, or are you still susceptible to the same soul contracts that kept you in chains? You must discern, is this love, or is this a loop? Do not romanticize the past just because the present feels uncertain. These returns are not signs to reattach. They are mirrors to show you what you still need to release. You are not meant to go backward. You are meant to close the chapter with sovereignty. If you entertain the past, you invite the cycle again. But if you bless it, release it, and rise, you pass the test. Testing of old patterns, the temptation to revert will be strong. The urge to shrink, to people please, to avoid confrontation, to numb with distraction, all of it is surfacing now. These patterns are familiar, comforting even, but they are the very cage you prayed to escape. The third test is here. Can you choose differently when the pressure mounts? The portal doesn't test you through peace-side, test you through your triggers. The old self will whisper, just this once. But your higher self thunders, not again. If you act from the wound, you spiral. If you act from awareness, you rise. You may feel like you're at war within yourself. That's how you know the shift is near. The old you is making noise because it knows it's being replaced. Deja vu moments, you'll start to notice them. Conversations that feel eerily familiar, scenarios that repeat with different characters. Emotional landscapes you swore you'd already walked through. That's because you have. This is the fourth test. The universe looping time to give you another chance to respond from your higher self. Deja vu is not a glitch's divine review. It's a checkpoint. A moment that says, this again, yes. But will you choose differently? Pay attention. These are portals in disguise. If you react the way you always have, the loop resets. If you pause, observe, and choose with consciousness, you quantum leap forward. Your timeline is not fixed, shaped by your ability to break the pattern when the pattern returns. Dreams of past versions of self. While you sleep, the testing continues. You may find yourself dreaming of old places, ex-lovers, childhood homes, or even past selves you no longer resonate with. These are not just dreams, they are soul downloads. The fifth test is subtle. What do you still grieve that no longer exists? What identity are you still attached to that no longer fits? These dreams come to release you from timelines you've outgrown. But the danger lies in nostalgia, in longing for a version of you that was surviving, not thriving. Look closely. These dreams show you what's dead, and if you try to resurrect it, you'll bury your future. Bless the version of you who had to live that way. Then wake up and let them go. The moon is showing you that memory is a mirror and only the brave can look away and walk forward. Temptation to self-sabotage, it creeps in quietly. Wearing the mask of doubt, distraction, delay, you suddenly feel the urge to abandon your goals, ghost your healing, sink into mindless comfort. This is no accident. It is the sixth test. You are closer to a breakthrough than your mind can comprehend, and the ego, afraid of death, is sending sabotage as a lifeline to your old self. Watch it. That urge to procrastinate, to argue, to ghost yourself. It is not random. It is the final resistance before ascension. The danger here is subtle. You may think you're taking a break, but in truth, you may be breaking your momentum. You asked to level up. Now the universe wants to see if you'll betray yourself before the blessing arrives. When the sabotage shows up, don't shame yourself. Witness it, name it, and rise above it. You are no longer the version of you who needs to burn your life down just to feel something. The moon is showing you your own soul's report card. Every trigger, every confrontation, every strange twist of emotion knits, all part of the divine evaluation, not from a place of punishment, but from preparation. The universe is trying to see if you are truly ready to inhabit the next level of your spiritual timeline. But readiness isn't about speaking lights, it's about choosing it when your shadow is screaming. And right now, your shadow is loud. It wants you to act from the old script, to run back to what's familiar, to replay the pain instead of transforming it. But if you listen closely, another voice is emerging, fainter but sacred. It is your future self whispering, "Hold the line. You're almost through." The moon is amplifying that voice. Let it guide you. The old you is clever, but your soul is wise. Let the wisdom win. This moon is not interested in who you pretend to be, wants the truth of who you are becoming. The test is not external. It is spiritual. It is vibrational. It asks, have you really changed? Or have you just gotten better at hiding your wounds? Under spiritual language, the portal sees through performance. And now, so must you. This moment asks you to be radically honest. Where are you still holding resentment? Where are you still addicted to pain? What parts of your life are built on the fear of being alone, unloved, unseen? This final moon of July is ruthless in its revelation. But if you lean in instead of resisting, it becomes your liberation. Because only when you see your illusion clearly can you walk through it into truth. This is sacred clarity, and it hurts, but it heals. In the stillness of this portal, time bends. You may feel like you're suspended between lifetimes, one foot in the old world, one trembling in the new. That's not your imagination. You are in the in-between, the liminal space where souls are either reforged or recycled. The test here is subtle. Will you grasp for certainty, or can you stay grounded in the mystery? The old self needs a plan. The new self knows that miracles happen in the unknown. If you try to control this phase, you will miss the magic. But if you trust the divine orchestration, you will be placed exactly where your evolution needs you to be. Do not panic in the pause. This is where timelines rearrange, contracts dissolve, and new realities anchor in. This is not emptiness, it is preparation. One of the final tests is silence. Can you hear yourself without the noise, without the validation, without the distractions you've leaned on for lifetimes? The moon dims the world not to isolate you, but to help you listen. Listen to what your spirit has been trying to say beneath the chaos. Listen to the ache behind your ambition. Listen to the still, small voice that says, you are not who you were, and you're not meant to go back. This test strips away the surface so you can touch your core. And yes, it may feel lonely, but in that loneliness is the voice of the divine. Do not rush to fill the void. Sit in it. Let it speak. You'll discover it's not a void at all, it's a womb, a place where the next version of you is being born. If you run from this silence, you run from yourself. And then, if you pass, something shifts. It doesn't come with fireworks. It arrives like a breath after years of suffocating. A lightness, a clarity, a sacred knowing. I didn't fall for the old trap this time. And in that moment, you're no longer bound to the timeline you've been trapped in. You've passed the test. You didn't react, you rewrote. You didn't repeat, rebirth. The moon acknowledges this with silence, not praise, because the real reward is internal. It's the peace that comes when your soul is no longer at war with your patterns. You are no longer the one you were. You are the one you remembered. The chains fall not with noise, but with a subtle click, and your soul rises without resistance. You are free. What awaits you now is not just P-Side's promotion, spiritual elevation, timeline ascension. Once the karmic contracts dissolve, your energy becomes lighter, magnetic, expansive. You stop chasing and start attracting. The universe begins responding, not to your wounds, but to your wisdom. You notice doors opening where once you only saw walls. People who align with your healed self begin to appear. Opportunities flow. You're no longer battling for scraps, you're aligned with divine supply. This is not fantasy, it is frequency. When your vibration shifts, reality rearranges. And this moon, this final July portal, was the gatekeeper. You passed not because you were perfect, but because you chose to be honest, aware, and brave enough to break the pattern. You may not feel like celebrating, but your soul is rejoicing. The weight you've carried wasn't just emotional, it was ancestral, karmic, collective, and now it's lifting. You've done what many are too afraid to do. You've confronted the loop, you've held your ground in the storm, and the reward is not some glittering prize, it is your own rebirth. You will start to notice signs, deeper rest, clearer visions, faster manifestations. This is the recalibration. Your soul has earned its upgrade. The spiral has turned. You are no longer bound to the lower rungs. You are rising, even if you can't yet see the summit. Trust it, feel it, anchor into it. You passed the test, not by force, but by alignment. Now, you walk with new codes in your aura. You are marked not by trauma, but by transcendence. This moon has branded you with the frequency of resilience, and others will feel it. They may not understand what changed in you, but they will. Sense it. Your presence will shift rooms. Your silence will become sacred. Your no will carry the weight of galaxies. This is what it means to become spiritually sovereign. Not loud, but luminous. Not reactive, but radiant. You are no longer a prisoner of your own past. You are a prophet of your own path. The moon has watched you pass through fire and emerge not burned, but reborn. And now your mission deepens. From here on, life will still challenge you, but you will not fall the same way. Because now you know what the test looks like. You know the shape of your old patterns. And more importantly, you know your power. The moon may test you again. Cycles may circle back. But this time, you will not flinch. You will not break. Because this final portal of July wasn't just a moment, was a metamorphosis. It turned wounds into wisdom, loops into ladders, pain into prophecy, and you passed. Quietly, powerfully, divinely. You didn't just survive this portal. You became someone who no longer needs to repeat. You are no longer in spiritual school. You are being called to teach from your scars. Now the veil thins. You may feel like you're standing between worlds because you are. One world, built from survival, codependence, and fear, is fading. The other, constructed from sovereignty, soul alignment, and divine remembrance, is calling you in. The final portal didn't just test your choices, it tested your identity. And if you're still here, breathing through the ache, daring to feel everything you once avoided, then know this: you've crossed the threshold. You have become a bridge between the past and the future, between the brokenness and the breakthrough. This is sacred ground now. You're not just a witness to your transformation, you are its embodiment. And from this moment forward, every decision you make will either water the new world you're planting or the old one you buried. Choose wisely. Your future is listening. As the moon begins to wane, taking the final portal's power with it, you'll feel a clearing, a soft emptiness. Do not mistake this for loss. It is space. It is breath. It is your spirit no longer suffocating under the weight of karmic loops. For the first time in a long time, your inner world is quiet, not because you've silenced your pain, but because you've finally listened to it. And now, clarity pours in. You know what's yours and what isn't. You feel who is meant to stay and who was only ever a reflection of your old wounds. This portal didn't just test you, it refined you, stripped you down to soul and essence. And now, your truth vibrates louder than your fear. This is alignment. It doesn't scream, it sings. And the melody is freedom. Spiritual promotion doesn't always look like bliss. Sometimes it looks like finally walking away from what you once begged the universe to give you. Sometimes it's setting a boundary that leaves you shaking, or finally saying yes to the unknown, even when your hands are trembling. The reward isn't comfort, it's consciousness. And now you walk differently, speak differently, love differently, not from lack, but from fullness. You've reclaimed your energy from 1,000 timelines, and you are no longer outsourcing your power. You've stopped trying to be chosen, because you remembered you already are. This portal didn't just close the month of July, opened the next chapter of your destiny, one where you no longer live from your wounds, but from your wisdom. And now the moon rests, her test complete. She has shown you your patterns, She has offered you a mirror, a choice, a gate, and you, brave soul, have walked through. The universe is now rearranging itself to meet you at this higher octave. People, places, paths will shift. Don't resist the reshuffling. It's not chaos, it's realignment. What falls away is making space for what's meant to rise. What doesn't call you forward isn't part of the next frequency. Trust the unfolding. You don't need to force or chase. You passed the test. The energy is moving now. Let it carry you to what was always written for you. You no longer belong to the loop. You belong to the leap. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. That ache, that loneliness, that confusion that surrounded you in this portalet wasn't cruelty. It was sacred training. You were being forged, not forgotten. The moon didn't abandon you. She stood in silence, watching, waiting, holding space for you to remember your own strength. And you did. You've come through fire without turning to ash. You've chosen consciousness over comfort. And now, the karmic wheel bows to your awareness. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the navigator. You broke the cycle. You passed the test. And you did it not with perfection, but with presence. With tears, with truth, with trembling hands and a lion heart. July's last. Moon saw you, and now, it lets you rise. The final moon portal of July arrives, not as a gentle ending, but as a divine reckoning. It is not simply the closure of a lunar phase. It is a spiritual checkpoint designed to test the soul's readiness for evolution. The energies rising during this sacred celestial event are not here to soothe you. They are here to confront you. You are standing at a vibrational threshold, and the universe is watching with unwavering clarity. The question this moon asks is sharp and direct. Will you break the pattern, or will the pattern break you? This portal does not coddle. It reveals. What it reveals is the honest state of your soul's alignment. Every wound you've ignored, every lesson you've delayed, every choice you've made to avoid growth, they all resurface now, woven into the fabric of this test. You will feel the pull of your past. You will hear the echo of old voices, old temptations, old cycles. Not to haunt you, but to ask, are you still who you used to be? Or have you finally remembered who you were, always meant to become? The portal speaks through symbols, synchronicities, and sensations. You may feel emotional waves rise without warning. You may dream of places long gone or people long released. You may find yourself triggered, tempted, restless, or profoundly exhausted. These are not signs of regression. They are proof that the test has begun. This moon is not punishing you. It is polishing you, scraping away the residue of your former self to see if your new self will hold under pressure. One of the first triggers is emotional purging. Old grief erupts from deep within. Tears fall for reasons the mind cannot grasp. There is a rawness, a holy unraveling. This is not breakdown, it is breakthrough. The moon is asking you to stop hiding behind strength and to allow sacred vulnerability to cleanse your soul. Suppressing your emotions now is the same as failing the test. But to let them rise is to allow the waters of your pain to carry you. Into healing. Next comes karmic relationship reappearances. Past lovers, old friends, familiar patterns return, sometimes literally, sometimes energetically. The temptation to reattach is strong, but you must discern. Are they here to reunite, or are they here to remind? If you run back into the arms of familiarity, you spiral. But if you recognize the cycle for what it is, a test of closure, you ascend. This is not romance. This is reincarnation and only you can decide whether to repeat or to release. Then arrives the testing of old patterns. The urge to shrink, to self-abandon, to numb, distract, procrastinate. These reactions intensify as you near transformation. The old self is desperate. To survive, it will whisper lies like, "It's okay just this once," or "Nothing's really changed." But your soul knows better. If you fall for the pattern, you stay trapped in the past. If you rise above it, you transcend the timeline entirely. This is one of the most subtle and powerful tests, not reacting how you used to, even when everything in you wants to. You'll likely experience déjà vu, moment, situations, conversations, or feelings that seem eerily familiar. This is not coincidence. It is the universe looping a moment to ask, what will you choose this time? The portal opens many gates within your day-to-day life, giving you chances to choose your new self in old circumstances. If you respond from a higher frequency, the loop dissolves. If you fall into old behavior, the karmic wheel turns again. Each deja vu is an invitation to prove your evolution. Dreams of past versions of self are another sign the portal is active. You may see your younger self. You may return to childhood homes, past relationships, or moments of trauma. These dreams are symbolic, not literal. They are soul messages reminding you of who you used to be so you can finally let that version go. The danger lies in romanticizing the past. Nostalgia is not the same as alignment. You are not meant to reclaim what broke you. You are meant to bless it, thank it, and move on. Perhaps the most dangerous and sacred test is the temptation to self-sabotage. You may feel the urge to abandon the very things you've worked so hard for. You may isolate, lash out, quit too soon, or delay important actions. This is not laziness. It's fear wearing a familiar mask. The sabotage shows up strongest right before your next breakthrough. This is the ego's last stand, trying to pull you back into safety. But